removing the taillight is pretty simple. You've got one 10mm nut that goes there, and then you need to reach around and push in these clips on the side and then push it out. And this one I've already moved the light bulbs, but the light bulb assembly is removable pretty easily by these clips right here. So you just press the clips in, you can take that out. You can see the right one has chrome and the left one does not. So I've blacked it out by removing the chrome. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do. Basically, we're going to take a Dremel tool and go around the outside of the lens, cut the lens off, remove the chrome, and then put the lens back on with some black silicone caulking. Okay, this is kind of a critical part where you take the Dremel tool and remove that edge right there. The plastic kind of melts a little bit, but you can feel it once it breaks through, and so you just cut it to where it breaks through all the way around. And just this thing is kind of awkward. I can't really clamp it anywhere, so I'm just going to hold it in my lap between my legs and remove this stuff. My lap, and I'm going to point. And unfortunately, I have to hold this in my left hand so that the particles fly towards the camera, away from me. Hopefully you can see this. I'll turn this thing up a little bit. What happens is it melts and then solidifies back down, but you just have to deal with that and work it. See, this is why this thing is hard to work with, because it's curved. What will happen is plastic will melt and then glue itself back together if you don't get it all out. You can tell when you're in the seam because it cuts much more smoothly, and you know, the width of this thing is about as wide as the seam, and with the curve it's not possible to stay exactly on the seam the whole time. So looks pretty good. I'm gonna have to touch up a couple other spots here. Let me get the camera and do a close-up and show you what this looks like. Okay, looking around the edge of it, you can see what it looks like. You can see the gap right there. You can see the red lens right through the crack. So that's kind of what you want to be able to see. So I'm gonna go through and just clean all this off, and then look for places that I need to cut again. And just cut that off, because you don't want to pry this thing off. It needs to come off. It needs to come off very, very easily. So you can take some Windex or some lighter fluid. I'll try Windex first just to show you. So I just rub that. You you can see how it comes right off, just kind of amazing. So anyway, I'm gonna go around with this and remove the chrome. Okay, here is the unit after I've cleaned up the edges. Actually, it looks pretty good like this, but I found out I made a couple major mistakes. I saw a Dremel tool right through the plastic in several places, so I doubt this is going to be that great in the end. Probably will go buy another pair of lights, or at least one light after this, but just wanted to show you. I took this pry tool and had a rag on it, but it just went down into the corners to get all the chrome off, so that's how that worked. And for some reason this side, all the chrome came off quite a bit easier. But you have to be careful not to spill any fluid, either the lighter fluid or the window washing fluid on the chrome of the backup light, or it'll come right off of there. I did that a little bit on the other one. So I'm learning a lot of lessons. Hopefully you guys can take advantage of that. Okay, in an attempt to get this thing looking better, I'm going to put some of the silicone in a smaller little syringe type thing. You see it coming out, so I can get some precision placement of this stuff and try and help the edges look as smooth as possible. I'll try to get a video of what I'm doing here. See that the black filling the little gap there. Do it here. So you want that to be totally, there it goes, totally filled, just so the color is uniform. Well, that didn't turn out too bad after all. So really, you have to think of this thing in two steps, and that is getting the caulk inside the rim of the tail lamp. Do that first, and it took me probably 5 syringefuls of that to do it, and you can just see how nice and black that bottom part of the light is. That's because it's filled with black caulking in there. And around the edges, I mean, if you look close, there's some places that don't look that great like that. I mean, it's just only going to be so good. But from a distance, yeah, it looks pretty good. Those places where I cut inside there aren't really visible. You can, if I tell you what to look for, you can see them. So yeah, it's okay. We'll put it in and see how it looks.